Welcome to Focus TV for our community today. Hi, everybody. My name is Gwendolyn Bork. I am the president of Focus for our community unity and support. We are the local Lancaster and Depew Addiction Prevention Coalition. Today, I have Officer Scott Hossfeld. He is the SRO, or the School Resource Officer for Depew Schools. He's going to give us a little bit about what his roles are and his position within the school, as well as what has happened ultimately throughout this whole health crisis, and maybe some things to look forward to in the future. So, Officer Scott, thanks for joining us.
I'm glad to be here. It's awesome that you asked me.
So we've already had, Dr. Raby, and he gave us the overview on a whole level of what's happening within the school. And he mentioned that, you've been doing some unique things with us. So we'll definitely get into that. But on a general level, a school resource officer, what are your roles, responsibilities? How do you work within the school administration as well as the students and the parents?
Well, each school resource officer that works at various schools has their own agreement with the administration and the police department. So when I came here as a full-time basis, because I had done like about 8 or 9 years as a liaison when I was in the bureau. So really the school district gets to define an overview of what the officer does, but usually it's broken into three points. And it's all pseudo. They're pseudo teachers because, I don't have the teaching certification nor the skill set that our teachers have here. Likewise with counseling, I don't have that skill set, but also, of course, the law enforcement component. Even though I don't do discipline, okay, that's still left up to the school, but I would assist if, the administration needed some sort of help or guidance. Or if it does become a police matter, then of course, I act as a full police officer. But most of my day before all this happened was I would be in my office as little as possible. I would try to be in the halls or, in a classroom if a teacher asked me to come by. I would sometimes help with like health as far as, drugs and the drugs in the community. And I would like to point out that, there would be some people doing drugs, but the vast majority don't. That the norm is to not be doing drugs. So things like that I would try to instruct the children. And then, around the grounds and things like that, if there was a problem with somebody driving too fast or, issues or even minor fender benders, I would take care of that sort of thing.
You also have a unique position to really act as like an intermediary too, right? I mean, between like the students, the administration, and the families.
Yeah, there's times where, the schools and the administration, they teach, to find a trusted adult. And it could be anybody. Our counselors that work in the schools are incredible and what they're capable of doing. But sometimes, for whatever reason, could be anything. Every student will have a trusted adult that could be a teacher or a counselor or custodial. And in some cases, it may be me, and that they're willing to share the issue that they have, the concern that they have, and then in turn, relay that to the person, the expert that can help them with the concern that they have. So I just look to be one more piece of the puzzle and help out in any way I can. If they have schoolwork, I'll try to help them with that. Although I tell every student I'm lousy at math. Don't ask me for help with math because it's not happening. But other subjects I'll try to help out where I can, and in the meantime I get to educate myself on various topics that they got to learn.
On Common Core, welcome.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that out because you're a resource. That's it's in your title of what your roles and responsibilities are. So whether, it's doing your job as part of your duties as a Depew police officer, ultimately under contract with the school, but it's part of your role to be a resource to these kids, the students, the teachers, and the parents. And even for me personally, I really relied heavily on my own resource officer, Officer Peel in the Alden School
Yep.
District, and they're just they're great. They are a huge resource for any family to have, and it's
Yeah.
less about punitive type of you know restrictions, but more like a restorative. So I appreciate
Yeah.
your help and how you work with the students. You have amazing presence with them. I've seen it personally. And you sit on our board for the coalition with our not-for-profit. So again, thank you for your help. Thank you for your service, and just working with these kids and keeping them on track, right? But okay.
Yeah.
So in the midst of this crisis, right, things are going down real quickly. We go from one day to, all right, we're not going to have school on Friday, to, all right, now we're not going to have it for a week. And we've been up until last week, whatever Friday that it was announced that we're not going to have school for the rest of the year. What have you been doing? I mean, how did your roles change in the midst of, okay, we're shutting down for
Yeah.
potentially a month? What was next?
And like everybody else, it was a lot of unknown. It was a lot of what's what is this going on? What is this COVID? And the uncertainty, the unknown, the instant worry that everybody had. But what I saw in the schools was the instant worry that teachers had. Oh my gosh, I need to teach, and the students, while, they might have said, hey, we're going home and get to stay at home. I think they realized this was not like a snow day. This was not like a snowstorm where you're off for a couple of days. So there's a lot of worry. So a lot of things changed quickly and immediately as the governor would issue directives. The school would have to follow through with, and it was amazing to see how quickly the administration, the school, the staff, all just put in a high gear. Okay, we gotta go online. We got to provide lunches, and it was instant. So I was like, well, what do you need me to do? You know, whatever it is, I'll do. How can I help? So they asked me to help out with delivering lunches to those that are shut in, to those that can't make it out, to those that are sick, with or without or similar symptoms, that rather than have multiple people go to this house on a daily basis, keep it stuck to one. Try to limit, flatten the curve, so to speak, of who has contact from the school to the general public at the houses. So grades 3 through 5 had to get their Chromebooks initially. So that was, the staff had people come to the school. This was in the initial stages. But then they started realizing, okay, this is going up. The amount of cases are going up. We have to make some changes. And when K through 2 needed their iPads for their online learning, they decided, and I totally agreed, that one person should do it, just to limit the amount of potential exposure. So since I have the car, the SRO car, the police car, we thought it was just an easy route to do, and then we got them all out there. Staff would set up who gets what. I'd have the names, and out I went. So it was very it was a very easy looking transition, but there's a lot of work done behind the scenes with Mr. D'Amato and other people getting these things ready. And then the lunches, absolute amazing what the lunch personnel have been able to do on a daily basis. Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And my extremely small role is I'll deliver a few of those that may be sick or just can't drive. And it's nice to see their faces. They're always so appreciative, and it uplifts my day.
And I think that's important to say, that how this was rolled out, in what you experienced within your school was no different than what kids were feeling, no different than what business owners were feeling. And we were all stuck in this together. Nobody knew how long this was
Yeah.
going to take, what was going to happen, how bad it was going to be. And there were so many unknowns, but you know what we know, and I think what, and again, kind of what I'm trying to focus on with our people here in Western New York, we know how to be resilient, we are resilient, and we know how to adapt. There's nothing like, you know, when the snow, like you said, a snowstorm, this wasn't like a typical little squall. It's going to come through and out, and then we're going to be fine. This was,
Right.
okay, we have to like almost hunker down and prepare for the long haul. And every second counted at that point. And people had to act and move and create plans and pivot. And Depew did that. And I just can't wait to hear, you know, even more stories of other people that have done the same, you know. And but you took that servant position of, okay, that's what a leader, you know, and that's what a leader does. You need help, I'll do that. You want me to do this, I'll do that. And I definitely, I commend you for that, because that is, you know, you could have easily been like, that's not my role, that's not my job. But you said, whatever you need, I'm there. And that leads me into like, you know, really the next line of questioning. So you're delivering meals to people who can't drive. Well, why can't they drive? And, you know, what is going on? Are they sick? Do they even have the COVID? You know, like you mentioned to me that you've done even beyond just driving around. You're actually making calls too to some families that maybe haven't, the kids haven't responded to the teachers, or maybe the families haven't been you know, responding. And so how
Yeah.
did that lead into you even making phone calls?
Well, the way they had set up the structured learning, the online learning, it requires, you know, obviously the teachers are available, but the students, you know, for Zoom meetings or however the teachers set it up. And sometimes, you know, they weren't getting responses from some students, very few. And frankly, teachers, you know, were worried. Is this, you know, how are they doing? Are they okay? You know, is little Johnny or little Jenny okay? You know, that was the first concern. And if they couldn't make contact, again, kind of flatten the amount of people that would, you know, from the school that would be out there, they would ask me to stop by and say, hey, everything okay? Is Chromebook working? Is the iPad working? You know, they noticed that you haven't responded to the emails or been on the Zoom meetings. Can we start doing that? Because it kind of, you know, some of the parents thought, well, maybe when we go back to school, they can get caught up. And this is all new for the parents too. This is, you know, something they've probably never been through, I'm sure, before. So, you know, they're worrying too. They're concerned. They may have to be working extra if they're an essential employee. And, you know, sometimes it might just take somebody knocking on the door to say, hey, you know, why don't you check in with the counselor here and take that route? And it kind of, I want to provide them with face-to-face conversations to find avenues that they can help little Johnny, little Jen, you know, get online, get their work done, or get caught up on their work. So
Yeah.
it's
And
been
that's so true.
great.
Like some of these, you know, I know personally, whether if you were an essential employee and you could work, yes, that was great. But now you're potentially, if you're a nurse or a doctor, or you're a healthcare worker, or ambulance drivers, police
Yeah,
officers, you could potentially be bringing things home to your family. You know,
yeah,
as parents, we worry about everything. We worry about putting food on the table, keeping the lights on. And now we have to worry about possibly bringing something home to our kids. So yeah, there's all these other things that were going on, and potentially, oh my gosh, we haven't even checked in with the parents or the teachers, and we haven't even checked with our kids. Like,
yeah,
do they even know what's
yeah,
going on? You know, so knowing
yeah,
that the school stepped in to make sure that, you know, these kids are being contacted, at least it's a phone call, and you know, okay, we're
yeah.
all right. You know, things are okay.
Yeah, in a school, the administration set it up where X number of people, principals and staff were, they make weekly calls. They started making weekly calls to every student's house, and would follow up with additional weekly calls if the family said, hey, yeah, give us a call. And what I'm being told is some of the parents are just dying to talk to anybody other than maybe their younger children. So it was tough for them to cut it off because the parents wanted to just keep talking and talking about, just about anything but, what's going on. So it was kind of funny them, and they all had smile on their faces when they were saying it. So it wasn't like a mad thing. It was kind of neat in a
That's
way.
amazing. It is true, like in a busy world, some of that personal contact I think we took for granted, and now we're circling back to that engagement piece. And yeah, Dr. Raby actually did mention that in his interview with me, that they broke up all the students and had the staff calling everybody. So, and you were just another little added piece to that. So, I mean, with the weather changing and us Buffalonians, it might be 20 degrees out, but if that sun's shining, we're going to be outside. Like,
Right.
are there any, being connected with the Depew Police, is there anything that, parents or students should just be aware of as the weather's changing, or, that now that school has definitely been, really canceled on a personal level, that we really be on the lookout for, or things that we should keep in mind just as we're moving forward and potentially getting into the summer where, things start to open up?
Yeah, well, I mean, safety in mind, I don't know if it's so much the COVID as it is the nice weather, but, you see it on the news or you see it on the different departments' Facebook pages, keep your doors locked on your cars, because unfortunately, the small percentage of the bad people will sometimes look through cars and look for unlocked cars to grab the spare change or the computer in the back seat, things like that. So you always want to keep the doors locked. But with the COVID and the social distancing, of course, we want people out and about, and we got some great property here at the school with the football field and the track and the baseball diamond, and we've had a very small percentage where they weren't doing a social distancing. You can't play tackle football and still be social distancing, but you can play catch, you can jog on the track, you can hit some baseballs, and absolutely do those things. Just you got to keep the social contact to be not there, just for the safety of everybody, including themselves. So get out, enjoy it, but remember that you still got to keep your distances. You still got to be mindful of that something's out there and gets transmitted somehow, and just enjoy yourself, but look around and identify, any issues that you might see of people, a small percentage of bad people doing bad things, and let the police know.
I will say, you kind of pinpointed, you touched on this a little bit earlier, and we'll be wrapping up in a couple of minutes here, but we really do have such a strong community, like between Depew and Lancaster, and our part of our requirement as a coalition is to really get a data point of where our kids are, where our students are, and their drug use and alcohol use. And you know what? I mean, against the national average, we are way below, and we do have awesome kids, awesome parents, amazing communities. So we definitely plan on moving forward with really showcasing that data. So lean into your good friends, lean into the teachers. I think that all the kids are aware by now that teachers aren't just like, oh, they got to deliver that job, they got to deliver that curriculum. Like, no, they really do care. And you also care, and it said that your kid, the students have had your cell phone number, they email you, they call you. Like, that's really impressive.
Yeah, I know a lot of towns will say that they're the best and they're close knit, but there's just something with the Depew Lancaster. Even though we have our little battles in the football field and other sports, there's just something. I wish I could bottle it up and sell it, but there's something that puts our community kind of just close knit, and whatever it is, I'm just beyond lucky to be part of it and be in the position I'm in. I say it all the time. I hit the lottery twice. When I married my wife, and when I got this job, it's just been a blessing, even on its bad days. The next day turns out to be good.
So any last comments that you want to tell any of the students watching, or the parents that could be watching, in regards to just what to do moving forward? The school's closed, so But your role hasn't changed. You're still going to be helping the school district out. You're still going to be, calling parents if you need to and helping and
Yeah,
assist. So although the doors of that building might be closed, everybody's still full staff. Everybody's still engaged. So what
yeah,
can we, good last advice to our
yeah,
students or parents watching as they plan to, obviously roll out into the summer?
yeah. This new norm, ironically, with the school doors being locked, the school still ends up being a focal point of the community. Somehow, some way, the school always ends up being that way, and rightfully so. My advice would be, you know, get your work done online. I'm sure it won't take you as long as it would if you were in school. So enjoy that extra free time you got. Try to create a new norm that puts you outside, puts you in a safe but outside. Enjoy the weather that's changing. Enjoy our great community as best you can. And as this COVID goes on and more things open up, hopefully soon, we'll be able to expand and hopefully go back to what our normal was before. Because that's the end goal, and we'll get there. It's a kind of a patience thing.
And reach out, right? I mean, if you're
Yeah,
going through something as a parent or students, reach out. The school is right there for you. You're right there as an officer. You're right
yeah.
there to help. So
I and every hundreds of people here that work are ready, willing, and able. Just you reach out to the right person that you feel you want to reach out to, and they will help you. They will find a way to help you, and we're more than happy to do it. And if we can help put a smile on your face or help you with a problem, that is everybody's goal here.
right. Yeah, I would definitely, I want to mirror that. I want to definitely, you know, come around that and acknowledge that because this I think there were some people, even some parents and people in the community, they're like, they're probably too busy. I got this idea, or I'm thinking about this, or should I even really try? And it's like, you know what? Dr. Raby responded to my call and was like, sure, Gwen, let's do this. I reached out to you, Officer Scott, for an interview. You're like, yeah, Gwen, definitely. If it's going to help, our students and our community just get the word out that we're there, like, of course. So I think the
Everybody will
last
find time.
yeah, you have been there. Everybody's there. No, you're not being a burden to people who call in who need help. You're not. This is what you're there for. So
Right.
thank you so much for your time. Thank you for again just your leadership and your servanthood with the school district and keeping in touch with the students. I definitely have some tricks up my sleeve coming up here with interviewing some of the Depew students. So you'll have to tune in for one of those episodes.
Absolutely. I appreciate you asking me to be on. That was awesome.
All right. Well, Officer Scott, thank you so much. And to everyone watching, we will see you next time.